Hi, welcome back to the shed for episode 14 of the Jurgs cut build, and in this episode we're going to be tackling one of my favourite parts of the job, getting the neck carved. So last time we left with the guitar kind of trial built to an extent and looking very good, and everything seems to be working okay, which leaves us with a few major jobs and a few little ones to get polished off before we can put this thing together properly and see if it actually works. The biggest thing is finishing. But before we get to that, we have a slight issue that we need to carve the neck. Now, I don't see this as being a really big job. It's a fairly basic carve on one of these, something we haven't done before a number of times, and something that hopefully we can get rattled out relatively quickly. I've got some templates that I can use. It says Modern V on them, so they will be Fender styly ones. One for the 1st fret position, one for the 12th fret, so we can use those. And I will be doing the bulk of the work with a spoke shave. And it wouldn't be a neck carve without a Shinto rasp. I'll also be using some carving files and stuff and a chisel here and there, but the bulk of the work will be done with those two tools. And the first thing we need to do is just mark out for the 1st and the 12th fret positions. Which we'll do with a square. You don't have to be 100% accurate on here with that. Just as long as it's somewhere near. And then I'm just going to pencil in roughly how I want my transitions to look. And the headstock end, I'm just going to kind of sketch in what I want that to look like, which is something like that. That will just be scooped out nicely. And at the other end, I've marked where the body meets the neck. So I'm going to come probably about 20 mil from there. I'm going to find something just to give me a little bit of a radius there, like that. And then I'm just going to set this sliding bevel up. Just draw those lines in. And that will give me a rough guide of how I want to carve that in once we get to it. So with that done, next step is to get this into my neck holding tool in the vise, and we can start to work out the material at these 12th and 1st fret positions. Okay, so there's the first sections done, and both of those templates are fitting kind of pretty much how I want them to. I always leave them a little way off just to allow a little bit of material for final sanding, but we're pretty much where we need to be now. So the next step in this is a little bit more marking out, and as you can see I've already got a centre line on the neck. So the next step is this central section between the two bits we've just done. I need to mark out this into halves again, and also down the side of the neck. Now I could do this by measuring, but I've done a few of these now and I just tend to kind of eyeball it a little bit. People get hung up on making necks and making them to kind of exact specifications of their favourite model from years gone by. I always think at the end of the day it's how the neck feels in your hand. So I don't get too hung up on it. Other people might, that's totally their choice. It's not something I'm going to do. So now we've got those marks in. Nice sharp spoke shave is my weapon of choice. You could just do this with the Shinto. Works perfectly fine. I prefer the spoke shave because it's just more satisfying getting those lovely little curls. And all we're going to do is we're going to spoke shave away until we create a straight line on the diagonal of those two that we've marked in there. And we're going to basically cut a facet in, and we're going to do that on the other side. And once we've done both of those, we will again halve the next set of lines and work our way through until the point where we're starting to get a nice curve on it. But doing this facet method will mean that you keep everything nice and straight, and at the end of the day that is what we want. Okay, so that's the first two cut in. There's a little bit of funky reversing grain just in here, so the spoke shave's tearing just a little bit, so I've had to come back the other way just to make that a little bit of a cleaner cut. It's not a problem at the moment. There's still plenty of material to take off, so we're not tearing material out that we're going to be needing. What I'm going to do is I will do the next couple of facets with the spoke shave, and then I'll go back to the Shinto for the final few passes, because this won't tear out regardless of what's happening with the wood. So again, just going to kind of halve that one, halve that one, and then we're taking out this material. And now we're at the stage where kind of taken as much as I can off with the spoke shave, and it's not that far off actually. It feels really nice. It's still a little bit notchy as you go around. So now I'm just going to take the smooth side of the Shinto, start working some of those tiny facets that we're left with into something more of a curve. Get a straight edge on it. It's not bad at all. There's a little bit of a lump there. But all in all, I don't think they're too bad. So that's ready for a bit of sanding and a bit of fettling just to get it into the final shape that we want. But that's going to be difficult to do because we can't really get a full straight edge on it all the way through because we've got these transitions still to do. So the next job will be to get a nice sharp chisel and just start working my way through these transitions and get those kind of roughed in a bit better. And then we're going to be somewhere near. And as you've just seen there, I've taken that through the grits. I started at 80 grit and I've worked my way up to 180 at the moment. Just really kind of finessing. And as you start working through the grits, it actually doesn't take that long to get it into a nice condition. As we have there. And that is pretty much done for the time being. I'm pleased with the way it's gone. It was quite a quick job and didn't really come across many issues apart from that little bit of stubborn grain around about here. But we managed to deal with that with the rasp and the files and a little bit of sanding. It's almost as if it never happened. So this isn't the final grit of sanding. I'll probably go up to about 220 on this, but that's going to be as part of the finishing process, which will be the next thing we're going to deal with. But that's going to be for the next episode. I'm going to leave this one here. I think that's a major job out of the way, and I'm happy that it's gone so well. So I'll be back in a few days' time when we can make a start on the finishing. Until then, don't forget to hit that like button if you've enjoyed this. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.